Everybody, welcome or welcome back to the channel. My name's Nicole and this is Darvanalee Designs Studio, and today we're here for episode 5 in my QuiltTube series called Finish It Friday. So let's get started. Well, good morning or good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for taking some time out of your day and spending it with me while I show you a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff that's been going on in the quilt room. As you know, this is episode 5 of Dee Dee's Finish It Friday QuiltTube series, and basically what I'm trying to do is either quickly make up a quilt, get rid of some of my whips, also I can start some of the things that are behind me because I'm pretty keen to start them. I've got 3 block of the months up there from the Fat Quarter shop. I've also got a mystery block of the month that I have up there. I think it's a mystery block, maybe it's a block of the month, I can't remember, but anyway, I have a ton of stuff up there, some paper, English paper piecing, and a whole host of other things that I want to make, but I have to make room so I can have these whips on the go. So my thought process behind this at the beginning of the year was, you know what, I need to get through some of these whips. I've got about, I think I had about 12 priority whips, and then I've got some others that are still over underneath my a long arm machine that I haven't pulled out yet because I want to get rid of some of these containers and get the stuff out of them so I have somewhere to put these quilts that are partially done into something. I've got some embroidery stuff as well and all that sort of stuff, but mostly I'm going to be focusing on the quilts. And I also, on my journeys, have found little bits and pieces that have either been leftovers from quilts I've made or things that Mia has opened that she shouldn't have, and then I just keep moving around my quilt room or the studio. And anything else that I come across that I think that I can turn into a quickie quilt to put into the gift box. So whenever a baby's born or whatever, I can grab something out, or I can give them to Mia or to her mum or whatever the case may be. So last time, it's been a couple of weeks since I've done one because I actually have been really busy with trying to get a lot of filming and things a few things set up for going into the second part of the year and all that sort of stuff. I've been trying to do some designing. Haven't had much luck at that. Want to do a couple of things for the channel as well. Excuse me. So I just had a big skull of water before I come on. Probably not a good idea before I come on camera. So anyway, when I spoke to you last, I said I was going to look at trying to do the foundation paper piecing. I had some other ideas in mind, and I was also going to look at the hearts and whatnot. And I've also got another project out. All right, so I have taken some behind the scenes footage. I did lose some footage that was a little bit grainy and whatnot, but it's not going to make a difference to the vlog. But there is a section that I didn't film because I forgot to press record. That sometimes happens when you've got a lot of things on your mind and you're trying to get through the day, and then you think you pressed it but then you haven't. So that's what happened, and that was the heart. So basically I decided, well, I'll just leave that. After I realized, like, I'd already sewn some stuff, and after I realized that I hadn't pressed it, I just stopped doing that because I'll include that in Thursday's live stream. So for those that don't know, we've started doing live streams again on the channel, but these are a little bit different. They're called sprints. And so basically what happens is we chat for a little while, people join up in the comments, and we do a little bit of chit chatting and all that sort of stuff. You can ask questions, all the things that you want to do on a live stream. Of course, you'll have that opportunity, and we go for about 15 minutes to half an hour depending on the day of chit chatting, and then we go quiet. So I'll still have my camera on, you can see what I'm doing and all of that sort of stuff, and basically we craft together and we get some stuff done. We generally do 45 minutes to an hour, depending on what I'm working on. And this week I'm going to try and get a quilt together. So you'll have to tune in for that. Let me just move that there because it's casting a shadow. Anyway, you're going to have to deal with that shadow. Not much I can do about that. That's where the light's at. So yeah, so basically I'm going to endeavor to get that quilt together because I didn't press record. So it's given me an opportunity to work on it again. So the quilt that I'm talking about is the heart quilt, and you'll see that in a moment. All right, so we're going to cut to the vlogs that I've done in the background so you can see what I've done. I've also taken some snippets from last week's live stream as well and put that in there and just explained what I was doing, because I wasn't talking on the video or anything like that. They're a lot of fun. You get a lot of stuff done because you hyper focus on what you're working on, and then we do a little bit of chit chat, and so it breaks it all up and whatnot. So just be aware that that is part of the vlog. All right, we're going to cut to that now. Enjoy. Hey everybody. All right, so we are going to be, I had these 10-inch squares that were floating around, and I had some white fabric, so I've cut some 10-inch squares to match these. I'm just going to make a simple quilt today. So we're just going to do sort of like what we did with the other quilt. This is a quilt that'll end up getting used by Mia, and I'm just going to do a pattern piece and a white piece, and I've got 20 pieces in total, so it's only going to be a short one, like a lap quilt. So it'll be 4 cross, and then it'll be 5 down, and that will give us a little bit of length because she's a little bit tall. She's got long legs, so we're going to do that. So that is going to be pretty quick going today. So I'm just going to stitch some of these together, and then once I've sewn it all together, I will show you what it looks like. All right, so I don't even know where these came from. I think these look like they're just leftovers out of a layer cake perhaps. Let me just get some light on this just to brighten it up a little bit, and then yeah, that's a bit better. You can see a bit better there. Sorry about that. It's a bit of an overcast day. Normally I don't need the light, but it's an overcast day. So I've got the sewing machine set up with some grey thread, and I'm just using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I'm just going to, right now I'm just sewing them into pairs, one white, one pattern piece. And yeah, and I've got a really nice floral flannel to go on the back of this, so I will just do that. And I'm just going to chain piece those through until they're all done, and then I'll look at layout. And of course I won't be able to show you layout process because the simple fact is that the house is too dark. So yeah. Okay, so you can see there that we've just got them sewn together, and yeah, and I'm just going to mix and match them. We do a blue up here, and I only need 5 rows, so sort of just get them all sort of mixed together and whatnot. Let me move those over there. Maybe create some of our rows. That looks like a pretty nice one to go in this one, and it doesn't matter which way it goes because the flowers are going all different ways. So actually I'll probably move that from there. Maybe put a stripe one in, I think. Still in pink, but we'll just put the stripe one. And I don't care which way these stripes go either, so they can go either way. Then we'll put in a red over there. Like, as I said, this is just going to get used on the couch, so I'm not overly fussed which way it goes. So let me just sit that there. Get a bit of a thing happening here. Got a bit of that one. And then I'll put this stripe one, will be too close. I'll go strawberry. Way. When I'm just using up bits of fabric to, like, I can cut them up and all the rest of it, but this is a great way to just use up these big pieces of fabric, and it just gets it done, and I don't have to stress about pattern or anything like that. I can just get it in there, get it done. That one looks good over there. And then I'll do a flower here. Actually, I'll do the white over here. So you can see there, that looks a bit different. And then that one goes this way. And then that one will go there. And I'm happy with that layout. So what I'm going to do now is pin these rows together. And where's my pins? Pop that in. So that's row 5, and then I'll just stack them just off to the side here. I will just stack them on top of each other, and then I know which way they go. And yeah, and then I'll keep them in that order. As I said, this is a super quick lap quilt to go together. And I also, as I said, I've got some flannel there for the backing that I'm going to use. I've had it there for ages. I just like to get it used up and get it on the back of this. It's got these sort of flowers on it, and it's got some yellows and stuff in it. It's a little bit different, but it'll work really well for the backing. And I'm just going to go and have a look, because I'm thinking that I might actually put a border on this one, and I'm pretty sure that I have a red border over there that has little flowers and also little strawberries on it, and this has strawberries and flowers in it, and it's a very similar red. So just bear with me for a moment. Okay, so they're our rows together. So I'm going to sew them together, and then we've got our rows, and I'll keep them in order as well. But just bear with me for a second. I'm just going to go and check this floral that I have. It's got flowers and it also has strawberries on it. So I'll be back in a sec. I think that this one will work really well. Let me just bring this red up. I'm pretty sure it's the same red. Oh, it's a bit of a pinkish red, but I think that might work. Also got an aqua as well. Also got that aqua. Let me just bring these. Yeah, it's a bit duller that. I don't know. I think I might use that red one. I like the red look. Oh, actually, I don't think I'll use any, to be honest. I might just use it as a binding. Let me just have a look. It's got a little bit of aqua in there. It's got the red, and it's got strawberries, and it's got flowers. I think I'm just going to go with this one. I think that's the good choice. All right, let's get the rest of these together. Okay, so they are all sewn together now. What we'll do is I'll turn the iron on, and we'll give them a press, and I'm just going to press to the dark side because we have white here, and that's going to basically that will just get the seams out of the way. You won't see them. And when I quilt this, I'll probably use a variegated thread. I have a couple of pink ones up there. I think I use a variegated thread, and I'm just going to do stipple on this one, and then that way these squares will end up with a pattern all over them. And just keeping it really simple, because this is a blanket that's going to be used by a kid, and it's going to be trashed because Mia's not very respectful when it comes to quilts and whatnot. She drops them on the ground and all that sort of stuff, so it's probably going to get washed more often than not. So I'm better off just doing a stipple on this, and then that way I know it's going to stand up for the test of time, and we're good to go. All right, let me get the iron all set up and ready to go. Okay, so you can see here, this was on the live stream where I was working on the foundation paper piecing pattern that I've had for quite some time. So I decided that I was going to use the live streams, which have started back every Thursday, except for the first Thursday and the last Thursday of each month will be Patreon only. So yeah, so make sure that you check that out. But every other Thursday, we will be having these live streams where I work on some of my whips and all the rest of it. So you won't have to necessarily be there for the whole stream. You'll get to see if I work on any quilts or anything. But I thought that this was a perfect opportunity for me to take some time and actually get the paper off the back of this pattern. These blocks that I've had done for since 2019, I think we worked it out to be. So basically that's what I did. I used these sprints to motivate myself because of lack of motivation lately. And I'm so happy that I did, because now these are done. Now, have I found the rest of... If you remember when I did my whips in the first episode, I showed you all the quilts that I wanted to get done. I apparently have put the 6 blocks that I have already sewn together away somewhere, and I cannot find them. I'm just hoping that I haven't accidentally thrown them out, because I did do a big clean out of scraps and all that sort of stuff, and I'm just hoping that I haven't thrown it out by accident. Yeah, so, but anyway, I still have I think I've got 8 or 6 of these squares left. I can't remember how many I did over this period of time, but it took me 2 sprints to get these all sorted, but they're all sorted now, and I'm super happy about that. And it kept me very accountable as well. So if you are struggling to get something done, come and join us. Now, if you haven't joined the Facebook group, make sure that you join the Facebook group, because I post in there when I'm having the sprints. It goes up, I think, about 30 minutes beforehand or an hour beforehand. So you can check that out. And this month we are doing it for the next 2 Thursdays after this video's come out. You will get to see that. So yeah, and of course I will be working on other things as well. I also talked about the heart quilt that I have in the process at the moment. I've actually done a bit more on that, but I didn't take any footage of me sewing that together because I forgot to press record, which was not very helpful at all. But as you can see, I'm sitting there getting it all off, and I'm pretty happy with what I got done on this particular day. And you can see the blocks there. I'm just trimming up the back of them. You know, they get threads and everything for foundation paper piecing. And now I'm not 100% sure if this is still up on the channel. So if it is, I will link it up below underneath this video, and you can go and check out these blocks. Now, just be aware that my system crashed and I lost all the borders and everything for this. And but that stage I had got to the end of the block of the month, and I just decided that I wasn't going to do the original border with it. And yeah, so that is not available, but these blocks might be. I will have to double check that, because there was a lot of kickback from that, and I may have actually removed that from the channel. So I will look into it further. If there is any information, it will be underneath this video. If there is not, then it won't be there. So next I set up my cutting board, and this was all during the live stream as well. Set up my cutting board to cut some of the fabric for the heart quilt. So as you remember from one of the previous videos, which I will link up down below, I think it was episode 3, maybe episode 2, where I had done some hearts and all the rest of it, that I was short a few for the size of quilt that I wanted to do. So basically what I have done here is I had 4 different sorts of fabric, and I ended up wanting to cut 10, but I decided that I was only going to cut 8, and I changed up my plan, and I'm going to use some of the leftover fabric. And the reason that I ended up going with 8 is because, as you can see, the variegation is quite dark down the bottom, and there's none of that dark variegation. It's only this lighter variegation that I have in the quilt. So I didn't want to introduce a darker fabric into the quilt because I thought that that would throw the balance off. So in saying that, I have had a lot of half square triangles. So what I'm going to do is I worked out during this that I'm going to take those scraps, and then what I'm going to do is make some pinwheels using the scraps, because I've got enough there to make certain colors of the pinwheel. And basically I'm going to put them into the corner, and then I'm going to use some of the leftover scrap fabric from these cuts to do another 4 hearts, but smaller, and put them in the corner of the border. So the border is going to end up being a 6.5 inch border all the way around, but I'm going to have a little bit of a section where I have the cornerstones as a heart instead of a pinwheel like I was originally going to do. I'm just going to switch it around a little bit. So that is going to make it super easy for me to keep it cohesive and keep the soft and subtle colors in this quilt. And remember, I'm making this one up as I go, so that is why it's chopping and changing a little bit. But yeah, you can see here that I'm just you know, ironing away, getting all the creases out, getting prepared to do all the things that I need to do to sew the hearts together. Now, when I sewed the hearts together, I didn't press record, so I do apologize for that. I actually don't have any footage for that, but of course, we will discuss this a little bit further when I go to sew all of these together. And this coming Thursday, I know that my Patreons are seeing this before the main channel, but the Thursday after this went up on the Patreon, and you've probably already seen this live stream where I actually started sewing this quilt together. All right, I'm just going to leave it keep going. You can see there I'm just doing the double checking that I have measured it and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, that's sort of what I've been doing over the last couple of weeks. As you've seen, I made an entire quilt in a couple of hours. I have been incredibly busy, so it's been a little bit hard to get a lot of stuff done. All right, let's have a look at the remainder of this footage, and then when we come back, I will be showing you the finished quilt that I made, and talking a little bit about what I'm going to be working on next. Okay, so as you've seen, we worked on the heart quilt, but I forgot to press. I recorded some of it, but then that was through the live stream. But then when I went to record after the live stream, that's when I didn't press record, and like I kick myself every time. Every time I do that, I kick myself. But as you've seen, I got the paper off the paper piecing blocks, and I also made a quilt. So it has been a productive couple of weeks because I think it's been a couple of weeks since the last one went up. So I'm being pretty happy with my productivity as far as that goes. Would I have liked to have got done more? Of course, we always like to get more done than what we actually do. But this way, I'm just working on it when I can work on it and I get done what I can get done. So as you're seeing, that quilt was pretty quick to go together. I actually put that together very quickly. I think it took me about 15 minutes to to go and get the fabric off the shelf and to cut up the 10-inch squares. It wouldn't have even been 15 minutes, and I'm being generous there. And then you see me the process going through of picking the borders and all that sort of stuff. Did I go with what I said I was going to? No, I didn't. Which I'm going to show you in just a moment. And like it's just a process. It was 10-inch squares that I had moved at what felt like for the 100th time, and I just went, you know what? I'm just going to cut some white squares. I'm going to turn this into a really simple quilt and call it done. So now what we'll do is I've got like 3 or 4 quilts over there that need to be quilted. So one of my finish it Fridays will actually be me loading up quilts and getting them done. But I've got a heap of customer quilts in front of me first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all those customers quilts, get them all out of the way, and then I'm going to block out a 2-week period, a week or 2-week period for me to get all of that stuff done of mine. And I'm just keeping it really simple. So one of the quilts won't be getting quilted this year. It'll probably get quilted next year because I'm doing all the embroidery on it. So we'll have an update for that because I've been planning. I haven't done any stitching yet. I've just been planning what I want to do. And I've still got a little bit more planning on what I want to do with that. So that'll be a few weeks off, probably after I've quilted those quilts. And then basically I've got other quilts over there that have been there for quite some time. And I'm pretty sure I've got 2 or 3 quilts that I've also got to put bindings on as well. So I have to find some binding fabric for those. So there's a lot of that sort of stuff happening. So, but right now I've got a container over there that I can put them all in. They're all out of the environment. They're just in a dark enclosed container. So they'll just go in there for now until I get these customer quilts out of the way. And then I think what will happen once I get these lot out of the way, I'll start dropping my quilts in. So it might be over a 3 or 4 week period that I do these quilts, and then you'll get that as an episode. So you'll get to see them. I'll take them outside because we're coming to our dry season. I'll take him down to the park or something like that, or take him over to the next door neighbour's yard after he's mowed the lawn and whatnot and lay them out. He always lets me do that. I'll lay them out, take pictures of them, whatever the case may be, video, so you can see them all done. Keeping it super simple. So the whole thing this year is keeping it simple, quick, simple, get it done is my motto for this year, because I have way too many whips taking up way too much room. And I would like to have a lot of these done by the end of the year. And of course, at the end of the year, I will do a finish parade of everything that I've got finished this year. I'll have to go back through my videos to make sure I've got it. All right, so you're telling me I can hear it. Shut up, Nicole, and show me the quilt that you've done. So I changed my mind and I ended up going with the aqua, which I think turned out really well because it does have some red in it, and I'm going to finish it with that red border. So it's super simple. It's 4 across, 5 down. I'm going to use a variegated thread on this as well to fill in some of this negative space. Now, I was going to just do, I'm thinking that I'm just going to do stipple on this because the simple fact is this is going to go to Mia, and Mia is not very respectful of the lovely quilts. She tends to drop them on the ground and they need to get washed a lot. And so I think the best thing to do is just do stipple on this because it's going to hold up to the test of time. And so you see there that I've got a nice little lap quilt for her, and I made it a little bit longer because she's quite tall. So I had to make it a little bit longer for her. So that's why it's not so wide. But I think this will be perfect for when she assumes the position on the chase on the couch. And yeah, she'll have a lovely little quilt. And it'll even fit on her single bed as a quilt topper as well. So I am going to use the strawberry fabric that I had that had flowers in it. You can see there's little strawberries in this. I think it is a little bit brighter than what the other aqua is, but considering it has the red and the blue, like the red and the white and the aqua in it, I think it goes together okay. I'm not that fussed about it. As I said, it's just going to be on the couch for her to use, and I'm going to use a flannel backing, which I have sitting over there. So I'm going to go and grab it so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so I'll just stand up and hold this. So you can see there that that is a really nice fabric. It doesn't match exactly, but I think it'll be fine. It's a flannel, it's a cotton flannel, and it's a Riley Blake fabric that I've had some time. I originally got this to make her pajamas and stuff, which I did. So I'll still have some left over and make her some pajama pants and stuff. Because she's quite tall, it's really hard to find long pants for her. And now that winter's come out, I've actually pulled this out of the cupboard and put on the shelf. I've got some pink over there, which she's not a huge fan of pink. And I've also got some blue as well. So that is what's going to go on the back. All right. Now, and I have I'm pretty sure I have a bone one there to go on the back of the other quilt that I made a couple of weeks ago that I'm putting the embroidery on. So I do have that. All right, let me just pop that over there out of the way. So that's another quilt done. And that was just 10-inch squares that were floating around my sewing room that were driving me mental. And I just cut some 10-inch squares to make it super easy. Now, the other thing that I worked on as well, and I'll give you a closer look at these blocks. Now, from what I can see, I've actually unlisted all these blocks because I didn't have the finished border and all that sort of stuff. If I can find the fabric for this, which seems to have gone MIA, and I've also lost the 6 that I've put together, I must have put it in a bag somewhere and packed it away. So I'm going to have to go through some stuff to find it. But I've managed to get all the paper off. I'm still trimming off long threads and all that sort of stuff. That all takes time. But this is one of the blocks. A diamond block. And they're just all red and black. And these are foundation paper piece. We have another one. I think that is called a Maltese cross. We also have this one. Very simple ones. This was a beginner foundation paper piecing block of the month that I did, but I lost my computer crashed and I lost all the measurements and everything for it. So it was never completed, unfortunately. I couldn't finish the borders and whatnot. So yeah. This one is one of my favorites. I absolutely love this. Super easy to do with foundation paper piecing. Very bulky in the middle though, just be aware of that if you do it. And this is also my other favorite one. So yeah, so basically what I was thinking of doing is just releasing these to the Facebook group, but just letting everybody know that there's no pattern pieces like pattern for the border or anything like that. It is just purely the blocks. So I have, what have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I must have only misplaced 3 of them. Maybe I've put the top. I'm thinking that I've put more on because I've put both the sashings on them. So I've got this cupboard here that I've got to go into, and I just haven't had time this week to get in there because it's a whole process. I've got to pull everything out, move a whole heap of stuff to get to that cupboard. So I'm planning on doing that on Saturday morning. Sorry, Sunday morning, because I'm away on Saturday morning. On Sunday morning, I'm planning on doing that. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I will find it. The other thing that I worked on, and I want to talk a little bit about as well, as I said in the vlog, I did talk about where I'm going to remove a couple of the corners. So this is my very archaic looking pattern. So as you can see in the corners, we have colored hearts going to be there. So I'm going to replace them with pinwheels, and then out here in this outer border I'm going to do a smaller heart. So that'll tie in a bit. So we'll have a heart, a pinwheel, and a heart, and then maybe down here throughout the border I might chuck a couple of other pinwheels. So that's going to tie it all in together. It's because I've got all this left over from making the hearts. So I've got these decent size, and so the pinwheel, I've got to make it to a certain size. I'm going to add white rectangles around it so that pinwheel just looks like it's floating in there. So that is what I'm going to do with that. That means that I'll get to use up some of these scraps. Whatever's left, I'll probably just make up a heap of pinwheels and maybe use that as the backing. So yeah, just have them randomly in the center with white fabric, make a strip and just add them, and then that way I can use all of that stuff. And of course I do have some extra fabric that was cut out, so I can also do a couple of smaller hearts as well, because that's what I'm going to make the hearts for out in those cornerstones. So that is the plan for that. You will get to see some of this go together. I probably won't do the first and the last row, but I will start putting the other rows together. I have decided that I'm going to put a sashing between them, but with no cornerstone. So it'll just look like the hearts are there by themselves. And I am going to use a variegated thread and do a heart in heart quilting motif on it, because that way it'll just tie it all in. And then I'll have to name the quilt and all the rest of it and give everybody the measurements and all that sort of stuff. And of course that pattern will be available to be purchased once it's all finished and done. So yeah, so basically I'll be taking you along for the journey of getting all that sort of stuff done. All right, now I am going to put these paper piecing ones back in with this heart one, because I do not want to lose them, and at least then I've got them together, because that is the next quilt that will be going together as soon as I find the fabric. Now, if I don't find the fabric, I am going to take the foundation paper piecing off for a little bit of a journey to Spotlight and see if I cannot find some fabric to match that. Short of that, the only thing I can see doing, because I was going to do it with cornerstones and just turn it into a nice little sampler. But if I can't find a red that matches, because I was going to have red and black cornerstones and some stuff in the border as well. If I can't find the red and black to match it, I will probably just do it with white, and then find a nice charcoal grey binding or something like that, and just do it with white sashing in between it and call it done. Because remember, the object of the game is to get it finished, to call it done, because this is a quilt that I cannot finish the original way because I don't have that software anymore, and I'm not going to rebuy that software because I didn't use it very often. And yeah, and so basically I'm just trying to get things done, get them quilted, get them off to the powers that be, the family, all the rest of it, and just have them done. All right, now the next quilt I am actually keeping, and I really need to finish this. This is the quilt that I'll be working on in the next couple of weeks. It's probably going to take me a couple of weeks, so maybe 2 weeks, maybe less, who knows. We'll just see how much time I've got, but I'm going to be working on this one for the next couple of weeks. So this is the next project, and I couldn't decide which one because I actually have 2 row by rows that need to be completely finished, and over to the quilt machine so I can quilt them. The block of the months and everything, the row by row was done in the middle of the year for the last couple of years. So this is, I cannot remember whether this is 2023 or not, but I do have all of the fabric and everything still left for it. I'm probably just going to make a quilt out of that using the fat quarters. I also have some leftovers and bits and pieces, so I can tie that in there. I do have some border fabric and everything in here as well already on it. But as you can see, I believe I've only got one more row to put on this, because one of the rows I decided to leave off. So, and I believe I have this row needs to go on. I think this is the last one. And there was, no, that's that one. The other one I think had the zigzag one. I'll have to look at the pattern, but I'm pretty sure I have this row to go on. And then I've got 1 or 2 blocks to finish, because each block is 6. So let me just have a look what I've got here. We have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6 on this. So this row needs to get added on. So that's all I've got to do for that. And I'm pretty sure this just needs its borders on it. And I was going to make a backing. So let me just pull this out. Yeah, see, that's got the zigzag one on it. That is done. I think that's all I had to do on this one. So I don't even know why this is not finished. No, I think I've got another row to do. I'll have to check that out. But you can see there that we've got some stars, and we've got these ones. Now this one is going to take a little bit longer to quilt, because I was going to custom quilt this, and I thought that I might do some straight line quilting. So you can see there, and then that's the bottom one. We've got that row where it's like a snake all the way across. So these were row by rows. I'm sorry, I can't show it a bit better. I will show them a lot better once they're done. And you can see I've just got simple borders on them. So basically what a row by row is, for those that don't know, is we have one block and then we make however many across. So we went 6 across. So you make 6 blocks of the same. And these are really good for beginners to do, because you're just working with we're working with 7 blocks. and we do one block each month or whatever. I think I was doing it every 2 weeks for this one. And then basically you had 2 weeks to make 6 blocks exactly the same. And then we just add them together. And you can see there how they go together and they create the sub patterns and everything in it as well. So you can see there that we've got this one. It's got a little like triangle hat, but it doesn't have it at the other end. And it's a great opportunity for me to play around with different quilting, like pebbles and all that sort of stuff, because I don't get a lot of that chance to do that. So you can see there that we've got all those. We've got Friendship Star, and of course then we've got that last one down there, and then we have this one here to add on. But I'm pretty sure there is another block to go on this, but I will fill you in with more details for that when I get into this. And I think that that's why I've allowed myself a couple of weeks to do this, because we still have all these scrap and everything here, and I'm pretty sure that these blocks need to be made out of this. And of course I've still got some fat quarters and all that sort of stuff in here as well to use. And I'll probably just, sorry about the rustling, I'll probably just use some of that to make some cushions to match it. I was thinking about using these car ones as throw cushions, because there are cars throughout this, or even maybe some of these I thought that these would make really nice just cushions, have plain cream on the back and just have this as the front and make a decent size. I do have a number of these left, so and there is a panel somewhere that I thought was in here, but I think I've moved it. It's actually on that shelf there. So once I figure out what I'm going to do with this may end up being another quilt, and that's maybe why I've thought I need 2 weeks for it, because when I was planning it, that's what I thought I needed. So if this is the case and I've only got one row to go, this is going to be definitely done. I will probably work a little bit on this on the Thursday live stream as well, just to make it a little bit easier for me. And it's easy for me to just cut that little bits out. You don't necessarily have to watch the live stream. It'd be great if you did, but I understand if you don't want to, that is fine too. But I love the colors in this. I didn't do one for this year, but I did do one for 2021, and I think 2022 I did it. I didn't do one last year because we had the ABC quilt block challenge last year, so I didn't do a row by row. I've also got all of those blocks that I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with. There are a couple that I'm going to turn into mini quilts and stuff like that, which I'm going to do tutorials for Patreon. So yeah, in the silver tier. So yeah, I've got lots of little bits and pieces left that I can use. And as I said, I've got all these fat quarters. You know, like when I was thinking about it, like these, there is a panel that goes with this, and I will endeavor to get it out. And it is a grey as well. And I thought I could just make a grey quilt out of this, and maybe, you know, I could I'll measure it out and I can do a little bit of math and work out something, maybe use a disappearing 9 patch or something like that. They're pretty quick and easy to do, and turn this into another quilt. And this would be a good quilt for my husband, as an extra blanket for him over at the workshop, because it's got cars on it. It's also got flowers on it. It's probably not going to appreciate that too much, but you know, I'll work out something, or it might be a gift for someone somewhere down the track. So that is what I'm going to, sorry about that noise, that click. That is what I'm going to work on in the next couple of weeks. Now, if it's only that one row that I've got to do, then I'll probably be back next week with that, because that's not going to take too long, and maybe a few extra things that I'm going to add in along the way. I do have another row by row that I know that I have a lot of work on, and that is going to take a little bit of time. So I will probably start incorporate, once I've got this one out of the way, it's another big quilt out of the way, I will start incorporating that in. That was the Autumn Splendor one. I do have a lot of English paper piecing, or not. Yeah, I do have English paper piecing for that one, and then I've got to applicate on. So I've done one of those blocks. So I've got 5 more of those to go, and I think I've got one or 2 more blocks to go in the final row that I did. So there is that I've got to work on, and that will be something that'll just get slotted in with other things that I'm doing. So we are slowly but surely getting through all of them. I've got another quilt that I've got to put together as well. So if this one is pretty quick, I'll see what I can do with, as I said, with that, those leftover fat quarters. And when I get I know exactly where it is. It's in a trolley that I've got over here that has whips in it. So I know it's sitting it was sitting there, so it should still be there, because I don't go to it very often, evidently, with all the whips that I've got. But that is the end of this episode of QuiltTube. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate the feedback that I've been getting. I hope that you have been enjoying seeing me get some of my whips done and all the things. And as I said, I'm going to continue on doing this, finish it Friday, to get a lot of my whips done. So it may end up changing to some smaller projects and all that sort of stuff. I just need to get this stuff finished. I've got to stop making stuff and then not finishing it. And that's what this is an aid of. All right, I'm going to head off now. I just like to say thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up down below. If you've yet to subscribe, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything at all. If you're looking for some extra content and tutorials and all that sort of stuff, head on over to our Patreon, check out all the tiers there and see what you like, and maybe think about joining one of the tiers. It'd be great to have you there over in the community. We're slowly but surely building up over there. So it'd be nice to have you over checking it out. Don't forget also the the cross stitch magazine also came out in the last couple of weeks. You can find that over on our Patreon as well. We have a Patreon shop there where you can purchase that. And of course, I am in the process of getting some of my patterns that are just the patterns alone sorted, and hopefully they will be up. I'm looking at about July, August for them to be up, more on the August side because it's a lot of work and whatnot. But anyway, that is it from me. Have a wonderful day, everybody. I hope you get lots of crafting in, and as always, I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.